Okay. Ooh. I never know when the lives start and when they finish. So I'm trying to, oops, the lighting's really odd at the moment. I'm trying to look at my laptop and at the phone. So multitasking. Fortunately, having a double X chromosome, that's not usually an issue, but technology and I are not friends today. My phone's had an update and it's not allowing me to video and flip the screen at the moment. So not entirely sure how we'll go with that this morning, afternoon even. So we'll just wait and see what happens. There's actually, I don't know, for those of you who've never done a Facebook Live, there's about a 20-second delay between me talking to the phone and it coming up on the Facebook feed. So it's really hard for me to figure out if anything's happening or not. So here we go. If we just do this, shut the sound off, because otherwise you'll have me in stereo with a lag, which I don't recommend. All right, so welcome to the second day of June. I'm not entirely sure what has happened to this year. It's 2020 time is interesting, but that's okay. It's exceedingly cold here this morning, and I definitely didn't want to get up to do the school run and all those other good fun things, but I did want to come online and share a couple of little tips and tricks. I've been making up a new card template and having a play with some cards, so I wanted to have a play and just share some of those little tips and tricks. Some of you have been crafting for a long time. It's all, you've been there, done that. But for those of you who haven't been crafting as long, you know, they might just save you a little bit of hassle. So who knows? Hi Evelyn, you're one of the long-time crafters who can probably teach me lots of things. So I'm assuming you're here for the amusement of trying to see me deal with technology, which is always an interesting challenge in itself. But anyway, my Archon Techno stand still is somewhere not here, is basically the thing. So I'm still with my MacGyver masking tape and blue tack, and sadly, I was discussing this at dinner the other night after my last efforts, and I said I MacGyvered it with masking tape, and Cherub had no idea who or what MacGyver was, and we felt the need then to fill in his education with a little bit of Google and YouTube footage to show him just how amazingly awesome MacGyver was and how it's totally a thing. But anyway, like I said, my phone's had an update. I can't flip the screen. Well, maybe I can. This one's showing I can. All right, we're going to try it. I'm going to put it facing so you can see me doing some crafting instead of just talking. And hopefully, oops, this is masking tape, so that will get out of the way. Let me just, sorry for the hurried noise. It's just the masking tape. Much better if it doesn't. See, on the computer I'm still talking. I haven't actually attempted to get up and move the tape yet. All right, let's have a look. No, this is just not happy today. Sorry for the horrible noise, people. All right. I'm thinking it's almost, yeah, we'll go with that. There's a few shadows and a few things like that, but you'll have to just breathe and deal with it. And this year's not perfect, let alone me and technology. So I'm just going to go, yes, I can sort of see my hand. We're all good. All right, so I have a couple of things. Reminder, Stamping Up tomorrow releases the new catalogue. Very exciting. If you don't have one, let me know. I'll happily get that to you. And I've been sending out little packs with the new catalogue to my current customers, and they have a little make and take and there's a little competition and things in there, so they've got homework with their new catalogues as well. But tomorrow when the new catalogue goes live, the online store actually updates. So if you do shop online, clear your cache of cookies and things, because otherwise it may, the old version and the new version just might not match. But I did another one sheet wonder with 6x6 paper, and you might be wondering why I'm doing 6x6 paper, not the traditional 12x12 scrapbooking pages. The reason for that is mainly we all end up with things left over, and the other thing with the 6x6 paper is in the new catalogue and in the current catalogue and in other promotions, we sometimes have these 6x6 pieces of paper, and some people go, oh, they're a bit of a waste, I don't like getting them, because they're not a standard card front, and then they're not big enough for a traditional scrapbook. So people just go, I don't know what to do with this size, it's an odd size, I'm not going to have a play with it. And I think that's a bit of a shame if you don't want to have a play with pretty paper, because that's what it was invented for. So this template is super simple. Again, it just makes 3 cards from the piece of 6x6. I'll show you some of the 3 cards. This one, you have to just check when you're doing, so this is where, if I put my piece of paper back together, this would have been my 6x6 piece of paper. Does that make sense? So I've got 1 cut here, 1 cut here, and then all I've done with this bit is flip it over. So as on that one, you have 2 different sizes to the paper. Now, one thing with this paper I had to be very careful of is it has a distinct orientation. These poppies look best when they're facing upwards, and these as well look best when they're facing upwards. So sometimes when you go to cut paper, just check the orientation of the pattern and make sure it works for the cards that you're going to make, because you don't suddenly want to cut it and have this long strip as this facing sideways, and all it would mean then is you just make this card in that orientation. But if you've got a distinct card in mind, that can be a problem. So just check your orientation of your patterns. The beautiful Poppy Suite, this one is actually carrying over to the new catalogue, so yay. And you've got to stamp your envelopes, people. Otherwise, it's just boring mail. So, well, it's much better than bills, that's for sure. Now, the last catalogue, we had a couple of product medleys. Product medleys are a semi-new thing that Stampin' Up have been doing. They are a group of products, not necessarily to make a specific thing. They're just more a group of products. So I've got stamp set, I've got a die cuts, I've got some cute little bee embellishments. I don't know if you can quite see the little bee embellishments. I've got a pack, and I can't for the life of me remember how much pattern paper was in here. The short answer was a lot. So there was all different sorts. Some is patterned, some is geometric, some I can colour in, some I can leave it's already coloured in. So there's lots and lots of paper. Then what they also had are these little die cut pre-coloured images, which are quite good. Lots of different fruit. They had some I've used quite a few of them, they had some pre-done little labels that I can just add a sentiment to. And they also had, oh, there's more sentiment bits. They also had these geometric patterned that look really quite amazing. If I just see how that pops when I put it like that, or like that. This side, if I didn't like that just white colour, I could actually colour that and make it whatever colour I wanted to match my project, which is always a really good thing. So these product medleys, they're more like a group of products which all match, but they don't make anything specific, if that makes sense. So what I did with these is I got some of this, and I use the stamp in the background. So that's part of my 6x6 piece of paper. Oops, get the orientation right, that'd be good. Just making sure you can see all of that. And then when I was actually coloured, these ones I actually stamped and coloured myself and die cut. I actually did an extra one, so I made a little tag as well. I tend to, any extra bits I tend to make into tags rather than thinking, oh, I'll make another card with that. So I'd rather use up the piece there and then. So this designer paper here I've actually coloured, so that's it uncoloured, and then I've just used green. I think I used the alcohol blends on these, but you could use the watercolour pencils, you can use Stampin' Write markers, whatever you want to use to just add a little bit of colour. And that was mainly just the green leaves, and the centres had a little bit of yellow, but you can see how just adding a little bit of colour really makes it pop with that one as well. So, and again, if I didn't like this white, I could easily sponge over either with the little sponges or the brayer sponges and change that to match the project as well. So that was another set. This one, here we go, get the orientation right, and then you're not thinking I'm a complete muppet. So this one, you can see I've used two of the fruit sides and I coloured them to match the little elements here. The other side of it is this geometric side. Now what I wanted to show you with this one is these sentiments don't actually exist in a rubber stamp. What happens with these sentiments is it's got wishing you every happiness this special day will bring, which to me is more of a wedding photo sentiment, or you know, a very, very specific special occasion. It's not a generic one, whereas I just wanted to, you know, wishing you happiness. So hope you're having a good day. This is thinking of you with all my heart. A little bit too warm and fuzzy for me, so I just wanted a thinking of you. And now these are really, really simple to create, and they literally just take some white card. I've gone and not brought over a clear block to where I'm working, so I'm just going to stick that very nicely onto a punch. We're just going to ignore that, and I've just got the thick brush end of the markers. You can always tell the markers have a thick line here. That's the thick brush end, and this end is the thin side for, it's got the little thin line for just journaling and doing some detailed work. So with the brush end, I find it easier if I orientate it this way. My eyes aren't getting any better as I get older, so I'm being vain today and not wearing my glasses. So that probably won't help either. That's all right. We'll just brush those in. So when I've got that, and if it's a big image or if you're doing multiple colors, anything like that, you might need to add a little bit of moisture back, especially in summer, to this, because as you go over it with the marker pen, it dries out. So you literally just huff on it with your breath. You just pull it close to your mouth. You don't really want to do this with COVID-19, but just huff on it. And then if I just stamp over here, you've got your image, and then we need to take this off because I need to show you, then you can just punch it out and do it that way. And I always find it's easier to stamp first and then punch, because if you punched out a little white shape and then tried to stamp down onto it, you're going to be struggling. So that's how I created some sentiments out of other sentiment sets that I've got, because sometimes, and those were the envelopes to match the other stamp set, because and more ones to match. You've got to have happy envelopes. Well, I'm not sure the envelopes are happy, but do the envelopes get to have happiness? I don't know. And these are with the new, releasing tomorrow, yay, beautiful set called Beautiful World. And I am really, really loving, as you can tell, this die cut out of the globe. I'm being geographically discriminating. I keep cutting the one that has Australia on it. There is actually another globe in that set which cuts out the other half of the world, but I only like the one with Australia on it, you know, it's just one of those things. and these die cut out as well. So now with this paper, please make sure if you've got any designer paper with words on it and you probably can't quite see with this, there's actually words on this, please make sure they're the right way up. Because if someone gets a card or a piece of map or something and then they go, the card's upside down, it just looks a bit odd. So just when you're using the designer paper, make sure the orientation and the words and everything make sense. Otherwise, it's one of those things. Although I am chronically known for addressing my envelopes upside down. Yeah, I don't know. It just happens. So, you know, it's one of those things. All right. So this one was super simple. I just got my 6x6 piece of designer paper. And this one again, it does have a distinct orientation in it. But, you know, actually I might do it that way. And then my thing. So 10.5 centimeters, which is the width of our cards. And turn this piece. So unfortunately I use metric and imperial. It's about 7.6 centimeters or 3 inches. Just put that in so that we cut it like that to get 2 pieces the same. But what I will do is flip one piece. So I've got one with geometric and one with lemons. And then this piece is slightly over the length of the card. So I just need to cut a little sliver off it at 14.8 centimeters. It is on the template. It will be up on my blog this afternoon, and that gives you another piece. So if we get rid of that, and I had such a lovely time last video of all of my snails running out. I've actually got my glue this week, my Tombow glue. And my Tombow glue sits on my desk. I have to show you, this is very expensive. It's actually my sticky tape. And I just sit it like that so that the glue is always down the end waiting, and I don't have to sort of sit there and try and shake it. So that's how it sits. Can't really see that. That's how it sits on my desk in my very expensive. I know some people have these 3D printed little holders for their glue, and other people use shot glasses. Me, I just use the sticky tape. So I've actually got one white card base I would do with this one. I'm actually going to use 2 different card bases. I'm going to stick this one here. I'll do it quickly. And the cool thing with the glue is it gives you a little bit of wiggle. Snail and glue dots and other types of glue and the tear tape on the rolls can be unforgiving sometimes, because once you stick it down, there's no wiggle. Whereas the liquid glue, you have a couple of seconds just to do that. I've actually got some copper washi tape. There's so much washi tape on a washi tape roll, it's ridiculous. This stuff just lasts forever. I'm thinking, yes, I did bring my scissors. Whenever I'm cutting anything off, turn it to the back, it gives you a clean cut. If you do it from the front, it doesn't give you a clean cut. So I would be doing that. What else have I brought over? I've already got my little sentiment that we made, and then I punched out a piece of black. Just hack that in half, don't be too precious about it. I don't know if I'll make the other ones. I might just tell you what I'm going to do with the other ones rather than sit here and make it. Otherwise you'll be listening to me prattle on all day. I'm sure you... Who's eating their lunch at the same time they're watching this? I absolutely agree with you, Melissa. It does my head in when people put their words upside down on the paper when they're making the cards. It's like, how could you... It as my son would say, it triggers me. It's one of my big pet hates. It's like, no, it's upside down. You need to make it the right way. I do have dimensionals. And these, if you're ever getting married, the dimensional backings make very, very good confetti. They turn up everywhere, all through the house. Every bag. I've been known to go up to mine sites and have dimensional backings. I have no idea how they end up anywhere near my stuff, because I don't tend to put my reptile stuff anywhere near my craft stuff, but these little dimensional backings go everywhere. It's better than any confetti. All right, and then thinking I'm going to fill up the white space. It's a bit, I'm at an odd angle, so that's probably crooked. If I hold the card sideways, it'll be all right. So that's what I would do with that one. This one, I've got opening in the landscape, and this one again is portrait. This is the new Bumblebee. It's quite similar to Crushed Curry, but it's got a slightly different edge to it. So this one I would use with the lemon colour. Maybe they're limes. Maybe I need to colour them in as limes. This, I'd use a piece of cardstock, and again I would turn that to the back and trim it off. I'd make those pop up, top and bottom, same as I did with this one where I just cut it. This one I'm thinking I'm going to go with the ribbon. Now with this one, if I'm putting this ribbon down on here, what I would do is actually loop it under and then back over, make the join at the front, stick that down and with glue dots or tape, and then I would use the sentiment to cover it up, if that makes sense, so that then there's no join on the inside of your card. All right, so that's how I would attach the paper with that one. Just to put a little bit of green through there as well. And that's pretty much how I would make up those 3 cards. So super simple, nothing overly taxing, but it's a good way to use up the 6x6 pieces of paper without too much wastage. I think what we had that little tiny piece as the wastage. So the idea is to minimize waste, but you don't want to have lots and lots of leftover bits all the time. So I'm finding these templates, and if you wanted a more masculine or geometric, then do it that way around, so that it's that way. So entirely up to you which way around you would put it. So that's pretty much what I wanted to show you today. I don't think, I'm just going to scroll, but I can't read on my laptop the comments at the same time that I'm putting little bits of paper together. Hopefully those few little tips and tricks just with the marker, orientating your designer paper, things like that helped a little bit. If there's anything you ever want to learn, let me know. If you don't have a new catalogue and want to have a little look and get some cute ideas, I can't actually open the catalogue and show you anything until tomorrow. And this afternoon, I've got it there ready to go. Actually, I've just got to put one more photo on the blog post, and that will be there ready for you to download as well. Of course, if you don't want to have this in the landscape, you could do what I did with the other poppy set and just have all of them in that same portrait orientation. So you don't absolutely need to have one going that way. I just find it makes it a little bit more interesting. I think I just get bored making them in the same orientation all the time. So that's it. That's everything I wanted to say. If you've got questions, I'm actually going to go back through the live now, and I'm actually going to stay on my Facebook group for a little bit while I finish my cup of tea and check out what you've got questions or anything like that. And hope you are having a good day. Stay safe. And I think my phone tilted a little bit, so you might have missed out on things at the bottom of the screen. But never mind, you get the general idea. Stay safe, have a good week, stay warm during winter, and I might be doing another live again sometime soon. I'm not sure when. I'll have to think about that. Bye.